This is a tutorial on how to make maps for mining. You don't have to necessarily follow this particular way, but this is the way I do it, and you can take this information and then come up with your own method or way, whatever you think is best. Let's get started. So the first thing, I've gotten asked about what kind of ship to use for the prospecting part of the map, and I do recommend you only prospect and then you concentrate on that. Don't try to mine or collect stuff. That's what the map part is for later. So you can always mine later. Don't focus in on collecting anything. Just stay on task of actually making the map. So I put together a Type 7 because that seems to be the best entry-level vanilla build. And the key thing with making a map is you're going to need a lot of... You're going to be firing off a lot of prospectors. And you're also going to need a lot of cargo space to store as many prospectors as you possibly can. Now, the reason why I have two 5A controller Limpet controllers for the prospectors is the first thing is range, 9,100 meters, and then you can control 4 prospectors at once. So if you have 2 of these, you can actually run 8 of them. And you'd want to have this on your primary fire control and then that under secondary fire control. And then you can alternate these two. You can fire them off pretty quickly. So you can do 8 limpets at a time, check to see what your results are, and if you don't find what you're looking for, fire off 8 new ones, and then the new ones will replace the 8 old ones. Now, a note about the sensors. The emission range is what's going to limit you on how far you're going to be able to see the data from your prospector limpet. 4.86 kilometers is not a very long distance. It doesn't matter what the distance is on the active range of the actual prospector limpet itself, but for the sensors, you need to match that range, and the only way to do that is by engineering long range on your sensors. You can leave it at 3D. If you want to go higher, you can go 3A long range, and that'll get you past that 9,100 meter range. And then if you want to go for best jump range, you can just do a 3D long range, and that'll get you 8,500 kilometers. So either go with a D or an A, whatever you want to prioritize as far as jump range or maximum sensor. For me, I would go maximum 3A on the sensors for this particular build, go long range on the engineering. You don't have to engineer anything else, but obviously frame shift drive, everything else is just going to be, to your liking. But as far as mapped mining is concerned, this is, if you have the ability to engineer this, I highly recommend it. It makes it way easier to make a map. And if you plan on doing this, for more than one map, it's worth it completely to have this extra range, because you're doubling your range pretty much. All right, so everything else is just cargo and prospector limpets. That's going to be the only things that you need. Shields is just... everything else is just your personal preference. Now, the ship that I use is just, and I'll show you this live on my cutter. I'll also include these ship builds. So I have my cutter, and this is the cutter I use and you can ignore everything else. But you get, as you can see with I have 7A sensors long range, and then I swapped out 2 of my collector limpets because this is my typical mining cutter, and all I did was just change out the collector limpets for prospector limpets, and then the prospector limpet controller I switched out for Super Cruise Assist just to make my life easier. So I'm going to do that live right now so you guys can see the changes I make over. So we're going to go ahead and to Starport Services. We're going to outfitting. And I'm not going to change anything else on the ship, just the 2 collector limpet controllers that I have. And I'm going to transfer, I have 2 5A prospector limpet controllers that I've already engineered and modified. You don't have to have them engineered. It's just for longer jump range because I have them set to lightweight. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer the other prospector. So that gives me the 4 limpets per, and then I'm going to go down here to, I don't need a 3rd prospector limpet controller. It just gets too confusing when you do more than 8 prospectors, and you just don't need it. So I'm also going to transfer, I think I'm just going to store this because I don't think I have a Super Cruise Assist list. So that's it. That's all I need. Everything else, I'm just going to leave the cargo and all the other stuff that I have in here the same. And then the next step is you want to go to advanced maintenance, restock, and you want to fill up on as many limpets as you can have, because you're going to need a lot. There we go. All right, so we're done with that.
Maximum capacity.
And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan on going back to Baran. If you watch my LTD map mining tutorials, I've already done a low temperature diamond map on the innermost hotspot on Baran A2. So we're going to head back there and we're going to actually do the middle hotspot and start making a map there. So if you just follow along, you'll see how I do this. Just before I leave, I want to make a note that you do need 2 other kind of utilities. If you're running Windows 10, you're going to need some ability to make a screenshot. So Windows 10 comes with a sniping tool. And if you go into, I think it's Windows accessories, this sniping tool comes standard Windows. So I've just hotkey, put it on my taskbar here. And you'll get this little window and you want to change the mode to Windows Snipe. And I'm not ready to do it now, but I just put this off to the side, and when I'm ready, I can use that. So after you take all your screenshots too, you're also you're going to want to have some ability to actually compile all the screenshots together. I personally, because I've subscribed to Adobe, I use Adobe Acrobat to create a PDF of all the screenshots. That makes it the easiest for me in particular. So let's get going. So I'm going to turn on night vision just to keep track of the ships coming in and out of the station here. Go ahead and follow this vulture. Fano, how's it going? What's up?
What's up? Heavy traffic ahead, Commander.
I'll read that in a second. I want to get... And I forgot to put my landing gear up. Followed 2 of your maps this evening. Made about 1 billion credits. Thanks for producing them. Must have taken a long time. Yes, it did. Also, if you're not aware that if you followed the 2 Painite maps, there's a new low temperature diamond map. I'm actually recording a tutorial right now on how to actually make the maps. So I'm gonna start with the process of making a second low temperature diamond map. But yeah, thanks for checking that out and supporting my YouTube channel, and also coming by here and hanging out with me. So I have a full 512 cargo load on it, which makes this a 3 jump to Baran. Just finished the latest LTD, did the Painite earlier. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish a second LTD map, but I'm at least going to do this tutorial on how to make a map, so everybody can see the process it takes to actually make these maps, because it's very, very long, very time consuming, and other people also other players want to have the ability to make their own maps if it's something that's they want to do on their own, or think, you know. All right, so I can see if somebody's out like in Colonia, you know, my maps aren't going to help anybody in Colonia, you know, and there's you know, double hotspots and out there, and if somebody out there has their entire base of operations there, then, you know, actually being able to make a map on their own would be something that would help them a lot. So I always approach Baran with this little star on the left side, and I always drop below. And I just keep that up at the top of the screen. That gives me a good attack angle to the planet, so the rings are flat to my position. And I usually center up around. I have to go 75% throttle. So here we go, 7 and 6 seconds, 75% throttle set, and then we'll approach the planet. I'm thinking of having a go at making a map of the Painite and Hades sector. It's closer to Jameson than HIP 21991. Yeah, this is, so just pay attention to this this video that I'm making right now. So the triple low temp diamond hotspot is there. It's the biggest glob. And then we have multiple ones. This one I've already mapped right there, so we're actually going to go and hit this one, which has a potential of actually being better overlapped than this one over here. I can't even target it because it's 2. There it is. That one. So that's another reason why I want to make a second map, is to do a comparative analysis to see if I can actually get higher percentages. So I think I want my minimum percentage to be 31%, maybe 32. I'm thinking 32% would be a safe bet, but I have no idea if the availability is going to come. So I don't have to worry about pirates because I'm not actually mining, and I don't recommend anybody making a map do any mining at all. Just stay focused on making your map and don't get distracted. So I'm going to boost once and then cut throttle just to get this slow pig of a ship. And then you want to have the all right, so we got to slow down here. Have the planet in the background. I had to back up here. Oh, and we got a planet or asteroid in. So we got the hot spot, and I'm still stuck on this asteroid. Of course, probably the asteroid's going to be right in the way. I'm trying to get past it, but it's really... I might have to just go like right on top of the hot spot here. So we're just gonna do like... We'll do like 100 meters. That's actually too close. We'll do like 200. All right, so that would be our initial lineup. And what we want to do also is we want to lock on the planet and kind of make sure that the alignment of the hotspot and the planet are kind of set up. So you just go back to the hotspot marker. So you got both of them lined up pretty good right there. That, and level this out. And that would be your first screenshot. Also, if you have head tracking, it's good to have a toggle to basically turn it off. So your screenshots are pretty much uniform every time. So this is the starting point, and then this is where you actually use your snippet tool. So you click on new, and then just click on that once, and then it'll give you your screenshot. And then the reason why I have JD Splice in here is I wanted to actually... Somebody was actually questioned me on whether or not I was the one who made my maps, and whether or not it almost sounded like they were accusing me of stealing somebody else's map or whatever. So I put JD Splice in here, so all the screenshot recording. So if you make your own maps, I'd suggest doing the same thing, just so you can retain credit for all the hard work that you put in for your maps, especially if you end up sharing it with people on Reddit and YouTube and stuff. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save that, and I have some folders here already set up. So maps, Baran, and then it's going to be map 2. And then I just do them in numbered order. So that's going to be number 1. And then I don't close this. All I do is just set this off to one of my side monitors. And then from here, we want to target the planet. And my thing is, I always use 3 points of references after the first asteroid. So there's not going to be any 3 points of reference right now, but we need to find that first asteroid. So let's get into the fire groups here. And what I want to do is I'm going to turn off my mining lasers, okay? And then I want to have these on 2 separate fire groups. I want to have primary and secondary, so I have total control over how these fire. Now, the cool thing about having alternating controllers is you can fire off the first one, and while that one's on a cooldown, because you can only fire them so fast, you can actually fire off the second one. By the time the first one is done, or the second one is done, the first one should be done with its cooldown. You should be able to fire off more, so you can shoot them in tandem. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to look for asteroids 32% or higher. We got a nice miner already mining there. And I'm just going to start off with asteroids that are close to me. So I'm going to do an 8 count and you'll see me do this. So let's go ahead and switch firing groups, and I don't even need to deploy, I don't even think I need to deploy weapons. So we'll go ahead, this is primary fire 1. This is primary fire 2. Or no, that's all. I'm basically alternating my fire. That's primary, secondary, and that's 4. So that's going to be 5, 6.
Asteroid scan complete. Asteroid scan.
7. We'll just do this close one here. 8. Usually what I do is whatever the one that's going to take the longest, which is probably going to be this one, I just wait until that hits.
Asteroid scan complete.
So rule of thumb is when you're making a map, typically you want to shoot at the far away asteroids first and then shoot at the closer ones.
Limpet engaged.
All right, so we got our last prospector there, and I'll go to my contact panels.
Complete.
And I'll just start going through my prospectors here. And I'll look for a high percentage. So we got one there for 23%. That's below what I want. That's it. So all those pretty much didn't pan out, basically. So I'm going to just say, okay, let's try a group down here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Asteroid scan complete.
And then this one's probably going to probably take the longest.
Engaged.
And I just try to keep a mental note on which ones I've already hit. If I accidentally and double up on ones that I've already done, it's not a big deal. That's why you bring so many limpets.
Engaged.
You know, don't try to make this like super hard on yourself. Just keep firing off stuff. And the closer the asteroid is, the better. All right, so that one hit, and we're going to go through our lists. So the 8 that I just fired replaced all the previous 8 as well. So you're not going to get any duplicate. And that's why it's important to always make sure and do 8 every time. So it looks like those are all duds. And this other miner here is actually making things more difficult for me because he's... So then if you don't get stuff right away, right in front of you, you're going to have to expand out left and right. So usually what I'll do is I'll just try to stay with the group that's right around here. So we'll start off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Limpet failed.
and 8.
To limpet
I'm also going to turn off. I don't recommend using night vision
engaged.
for actually taking your screenshots, which I actually did with the.
Complete. Prospector limpet
So I may actually redo the very first screenshot.
complete.
It helps you spot the right asteroids later when you're revisiting.
Asteroid scan complete. Prospector limpet engaged. Asteroid
All right,
scan
so
complete.
all right, now that that NPC is kind of gone, that
Asteroid
makes
scan
things easier.
complete.
So you just start at the top and you work your way down, look for a high percentage. And we got some duds again. So I'm actually going to redo my screenshot here. One. I think I'm leveled out there. So go ahead and click new, save as, and we'll replace for screenshot. All right, so a bunch of on the left didn't really pan out. Let's try this big one right here.
Prospector limpet
One.
failed.
We already did that one.
Prospector limpet
2,
failed. Prospector limpet
3,
failed. Prospector limpet
4,
failed. Asteroid scan complete.
5,
Prospector limpet failed.
6,
Prospector limpet engaged. Prospector limpet failed. Prospector limpet
7,
failed. Asteroid scan complete.
8.
Prospector limpet failed. Asteroid scan complete. Asteroid scan complete.
And as you can see, I'm already having trouble finding even one that's higher than 30%.
Asteroid
So
scan.
this is pretty typical of, especially for a low temperature diamond area.
Prospector limpet
You'd probably have better luck in a painite because painite's got such a variety of
engaged. Asteroid scan.
percentages. So we got a 25%er there,
Asteroid scan complete.
and the rest, and a 26%. So the rest are duds. So now I'm going to really have to kind of dig deep here. And since I got to fire at further away ones, I'm actually going to start shooting at some asteroids towards the center here. We go 1,
Prospector limpet failed.
2,
Prospector limpet failed.
3,
Prospector limpet failed. Prospector limpet
4,
failed. Prospector
5,
failed. Prospector
6,
failed.
7,
Failed.
and 8.
Failed.
So basically I kept the grouping pretty much to the center right. And we'll just wait for the last one, which will take the longest.
Limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete. Prospector limpet engaged.
So as soon as that hits,
Engaged. Asteroid scan complete. Prospector limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete. Prospector limpet engaged.
all right, so we got a winner
Scan
on the last one, but we're going to go still check.
complete.
29%. So we got a 35.27%. So that's what I call winner, winner, chicken dinner. And that's all we need. It's just one. One will get us set. So the next thing we need to do is set up for a screenshot, this is actually pretty nice because you can just kind of set up for, and I want to wait till this chevron kind of centers in on it. So we're going to click on new, and then there we go. There's our first mapped asteroid, and it's right in the direction of the planet. So that's always good. Anytime you're going in the direction of the planet, you leave a whole field of asteroids behind you, and it helps you prospect easier group of asteroids. So we want to go ahead and save that as number 2. Move that off to the side, or just put it off in the background. And I think we're pretty good to go. So all you do is just fly to the next asteroid. So for my method, I'm gonna actually get a boost. I'm gonna aim towards the lower part of the asteroid, and I'm just using that as my brakes. I'm gonna leave the shields full pipped up. So what we want to do is, since this is the asteroid that we would mine, we want to go to the bottom. We want to center up on the planet, right? And we want to make sure the asteroid we just mined is at the top of the screen. This is where we're going to want to take our screenshot as in reference. And if it gets up on you a little bit, just move up. And then so from this point, you don't want to move position laterally, forward, or backwards. Or at least until you find the asteroid. So we're just going to start with these rocks that are right in front of us. So here we go. 1. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8.
Asteroid scan complete.
Just keep an eye on the left 4 ones. I think this one's taking the longest right there, because that asteroid is actually further away than it looks. All right, so that was the last one. We'll go down the list. We got a 30.86%. There's a 33 right there. So we're actually getting some good numbers. So we're going to take the 33% and ignore the rest. So that's actually going to be our next screenshot. So for this, I'm going to aim down a little bit just because... Whoa!
Incredible. One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second.
Shutterboy, thank you for the YouTube subscription. All right, so again, I'm going to aim down a little bit because I want it to be easy to reference the asteroids that are around the asteroid that I'm at. And I also want to, I'm going to strafe up a little bit and then just kind of center that in the screen just so that I'm actually chasing the asteroid a little bit right now. All right, and then when you're ready, you just click on new. That should be good right there. And then the Snippet Tool will kind of give you a preview of what it'll be before you click on it. So you just, I actually don't want to do that one. I want to wait till this chevron. I might actually redo that. So what I'm going to do is just going to fire one, and I want it to be, I want the limpet to be more centered in that asteroid. And I'm going to redo this screenshot where it's proper. Get kind of centered back up here, make sure we're kind of leveled out. And I might even snapshot this. And by snapshot, I mean I'm going to get the screenshot right when it hits. Right there. So that's ideal when you do this, because they'll see the blue and the chevron. And I might do that for every asteroid from now on. So we got the 3 points of reference. We got the asteroid we just mined, we got the planetary marker, and then the asteroid you want to go ahead and save that as number 3. The nice thing about the screenshots in the map mining is if you don't like a screenshot in your series, you could always go back to that original position and redo the screenshot and just note which, number it is and replace that in the series. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'm not going to boost because we're so close. All right, same thing as before. We are going to line up, center up with the planet. And we're going to get the asteroid at the top of the screen as if we just... You always try to keep it as if you just got done mining the asteroid. So we're just going to fire off. We'll start off with this. All right, well, I already did that one, but we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Prospect to limpet failed. Prospect to limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete. Prospect to limpet engaged.
So we'll do like the first, I don't know, like 5 or 6.
Engaged. Asteroid scan.
All right, so all the asteroids are hit. You just go through the list here.
Complete.
So we got a 30%er, but that's not... I want to get a higher percentage. Let's look at which one was the 30%. All right, so that one right in the middle is the 30%. So the reason why I'm making a mental note of it is if I don't find any other high percent asteroids, I'm going to have to go back to this one and say, all right, I'm just going to take this one. All right, so we're going to continue on, and I think I'm going to do a few more kind of just, centered off inside here. So 1,
Prospect to limpet failed.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do these 2. 7 and 8. So a quick note here, my limits, I always have the planetary marker in sight. So if I use my screen here, this planetary marker can't go any further to the left side of my screen, meaning I won't be able to do any asteroids beyond this field of view. So beyond these 2 asteroids and maybe this one here, I'm not going to try to target any other asteroids outside of this field. Same thing with anything that's up and then anything that's down. Whatever I can't fit in my view screen, I'm not gonna try and actually do prospecting for. So here we go. We got a 3592. That's pretty good. I think that's going to be our winner chicken dinner. Yeah, we'll stick with that. A really good percentage. Really happy with that. So we already centered up here. And always, that's how you start. And then what you do is when you're trying to find that position again, you just yaw over. And then you're going to want to angle down so they have a good reference of the asteroids that are around. Also, you might want to strafe up so you at least have the asteroid where you came from is in view. And kind of level out a little bit. Up just a little bit more, and then we'll take a screenshot. I'm going to wait for it to rotate around. because like anytime you have a situation where it looks like it could be here or it could be here, try to either shoot off another prospector link. Actually, that's what I'll do right now. I'll just fire off another one, and then I'll snapshot it.
Prospector limpet failed.
Just make sure you target it before it hits. Get your shot lined up. And then get ready to snapshot it. Of course, the asteroid moves out of the way. I think I can still do it.
Prospector limpet
There we
engaged.
go. All right, so there's our screenshot.
Asteroid scan complete.
I still have a very small chunk of the asteroid I was at, but you can pretty much see a good reference of the asteroid itself. And you can see the cluster of asteroids as reference. So this shouldn't be too hard to find. So I'll go ahead and save that as number 4. Put this off to the side. And we'll go ahead and fly over this one. And again, looks like we mined it. And we are going to center up with the planet, get level, and have the asteroid at the top of the screen. We're going to strafe down a little bit because we want to have more asteroids in view. All right, so I've already fired off a lot of stuff at the, from the previous asteroid. The stuff on the left side of the screen, those are some of the asteroids that I'm going to hit. So I'm going to want to concentrate on stuff that's going to be toward the right side. So what I'm going to do is just focus in on what's centered here. I can see I got a prospector limpet there already, so I don't need to hit that one again. So we'll just start off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do 5, 6, 7, and we'll do this one for the last one, 8.
Asteroid scan complete. Prospector limpet engaged.
Now, if you have head tracking, you can check like that. You can look up there and check that one. Look at that one. Check that. You can go around and use your head tracking to
Asteroid scan complete.
kind of look at stuff. But to be honest, like the simplest way, because it's going to be hard to keep track of all that stuff, is just start here at the top of the list and go down.
Asteroid scan.
So nice, we got a 36%er already. So this is actually going really well so far. All right, so let's make sure we're centered up again. We want to get a little bit right here. And so now we're going to want to pan down a bit. Strafe up a little bit. There we go. So that's pretty good right there. I'm going to turn off my head tracking again for the screenshot. As you see, by turning off the head tracking, that changed. So I want to strafe up a little bit more. There we go. That's good right there. Or am I going to follow my rule? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the snapshot. So it's 5 kilometers away, so I can keep track of. Be good right there. So I'm just waiting for it to hit. As soon as it does, I'm gonna hit the I'll hit new on the sniping tool. There it goes.
Engaged.
And save that as number 5.
Complete.
Now there's something I want to cover here. There's a bug in the game to where if you try to snapshot an asteroid, like we'll use this as an example, right? If there's 2 asteroids here, one's in front and one's behind. If you shot this asteroid, that blue haze will actually go clip through this asteroid and it'll obscure this asteroid. I'm going to actually show you that so you can see what I'm talking about. That's a good spot right there. So watch what happens in the blue haze when it hits the asteroid behind it. Hopefully it'll hit the one behind it. I missed the front one. You'll see the blue haze, like, yeah, see how the blue haze clips right through the asteroid that's in front. So if you try snapshotting and then doing a screenshot, be aware of that when there's 2 asteroids very close to each other and the other one's, the one that you're snapshotting is behind. So let's get to this guy here. That's our chicken dinner. So again, same routine. Center up with the planet, get the asteroid at the top of the screen. Just a series of prospecting. All right, here we go. Continue on. So 1,
Prospect to limpet failed.
2,
Prospect to limpet failed. Prospect to limpet
3,
failed. Prospect to limpet
4,
Prospect to limpet
5,
failed. Prospect to limpet
6,
asteroid scan
7, and 8.
failed. Prospect to limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete. Prospect to limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete. Asteroid scan complete. Prospect to limpet engaged.
So they're pretty much all engaged.
Scan complete.
Through the we got one that's
Scan complete.
that one's pretty far out. See, this is where the having the engineered sensor comes in handy, because there's no way you'd get that information off of that asteroid if you didn't have your sensors engineered. And I'll show you on this one. So I've had this grade 5 long range sensor, which actually gives me a maximum range of 14 kilometers. The Prospector Limpet itself actually is only 9,100 meters, but that's fine as long as I get 9K. That's all I need to basically find the next asteroid. So it looks like we did all. It's not meeting. We found a couple that are high percentage, but not high enough. So I'm going to continue on with this group of asteroids here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do this one for 5. 5. I don't know if that's actually going to make it or not. We'll do 6.
Limpet failed. Prospect Limpet engaged.
7.
Prospect Limpet failed. Asteroid scan
8.
complete. Prospect Limpet failed. Asteroid scan complete. Prospect Limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete.
All right, so we're just waiting on that one to hit, and we'll...
Asteroid scan complete.
All right,
Limpet
so there's the list,
asteroid scan complete.
and those are all duds. So I'm gonna go left here and hit up some of these guys. I might have already done this one, but you know what? Screw it. Let's be sure.
Limpet
1, 2. Let's get that one. 3, 4, 5, 6. Do 7, 8. So that one's probably going to hit last.
Prospect Limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete. Prospect Limpet
Or not.
engaged.
That one.
Asteroid scan complete. Prospect Limpet engaged.
All right, so we're done.
Asteroid scan
We got a 30%er, which is nice, but not quite
complete.
the minimum range of 4. So those are all duds, and we'll just continue on prospecting. So we're going to go turn off my head tracking and look at what is the limit. So these asteroids right here are going to be the limit of what I want to be far over left. So I'm going to keep a mental note that, you know, these guys right here and down and to the left. So I'm going to start off with this. 1, 2, we'll go like 3. 4. 5. 2. 6.
Asteroid scan complete.
7, and I don't know. We'll just do that one. 8. Try not to hesitate too much like I was just doing, because it just makes the whole process way longer. Just pick 8, fire off at them, and wait for the data to come in. Because every time you hesitate, it just adds and stacks up over time. Especially if the last few you pick are going to be more than 5 kilometers away from, like this last one. I bet you that's going to end up being like 7 or 8 kilometers. We'll have to see.
Asteroid scan complete.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at our list here. 24%, 25%, 27. Yeah, those are all duds as well. So we're going to have to dig deeper and fire off at asteroids that are a little further away. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. This for number.
Limpet failed.
You run into these dry spots sometimes, and you just really have to just be patient with it and just hit as many rocks as you can. Even ones that you think you might have already done, just continue on with it. Don't get too discouraged, because I've had times where I've shot off like 150 limpets and didn't find one until the very, very end.
Prospector limpet engaged. Asteroid scan complete.
Yeah, that one may be out of range.
Complete.
Last one, it looks like it is out of range. So that's way past 9K. That's fine. That means we're only going to have 7. So we had a third. Okay, there we go. There's our chicken dinner. So you get a little worried, and then you get one of these, and you're like, yes, you feel really good about it. It's almost like going void opal mining. You keep searching when you finally find that good one. So this is another thing I want to showcase, is there's a bug in the game. I should be able to see where this prospector limpet is, and it's selected, but it can't see where it's at, because the chevrons, the little chevrons that stay around the target, I don't know what it is. It's because I'm using so many prospector limpets, the game just bugs out. So how you deal with that is you select something else you previously did, right? And then you select the one you think is there. So this is the one right here. That's the one that has the correct. And then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to snapshot this in order to get this to work right, or you're going to have to fire off a bunch of limpets until the chevrons come back. So let's go ahead and fire off one. And when I highlight it, you can see it's not, the chevrons aren't coming back. So I'm just going to snapshot this. And it's going to be around 7K. So I've got to turn off my head tracker. Once it hits at 7K, once it gets that blue flash, that's when I'm going to hit the screenshot button. Here we go.
Prospector limpet engaged.
So that'll be good enough for that screenshot. So we do number 6 on that one. And then we'll go ahead and fly to it.
Cargo scoop deployed.
That's another bug I've come across. You know, doing
Cargo scoop retracted.
The sound goes away whenever you do like a certain number of things or whatever. So just gonna start off prospecting again. So we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the reason why I'm picking these particular ones is because they're all kind of close by. They're short range. So it helps to speed up the mapping process if one of these happens to end up
Limpet engaged.
being a high percentage.
Scan complete. Prospect.
All right, so that was the last one, and we'll go ahead and look at the list here. So we lucked out. We got another 35%er right there. So I think we're pretty good to go. I'll go down just a little bit. We're gonna pan over, aim up, and that'll be good enough for our screenshots, I guess. Let's do. I'm gonna snapshot this so.
Prospect to Limpet failed. Prospect to Limpet engaged.
I mean, number 7.
Complete.
All right, so you guys have pretty much seen this process. It's really, I'm getting really good percentages here for this particular second map. And let me pull. I'm going to actually compile the map right now. So I'm going back to that folder where I was saving all the screenshots. And I'm going to take it and combine the files in Adobe Acrobat. See me do that right now, and it's just going to put them all in order. And there is, maximize the screen here. So here is, oh, I actually forgot to, I'll have to redo this screenshot, but at the hotspot, it should say hotspot, not Pirani too, and then I shouldn't have any data here as well. So I'll redo this, but since this is the very first screenshot, it's not going to be that hard. So here's the first asteroid. You fly up underneath there, and you got the second asteroid. So we got 35, 33, 35, 36, 35, 35. So this is actually looking really promising. If I can keep the minimum at 33% or higher, this could be really, really lucrative. So we'll see how this goes. But that's going to be it for the. I'll list the builds for this ship that I'm currently using right now. And for that Type 7, if you want to do map mining on a budget, you just won't have as much cargo space. So another thing is we did 6 asteroids, and I started out with... I did something wrong there. Okay. We started out with 512 limpets. So we already went through 130 limpets just for 6 asteroids. So that gives you an idea of just how much, it takes. You need a lot of limpets because you're going to be prospecting a lot of asteroids. But the nice thing is that these percentages are so good that you might be able to get a higher payout than 400 million per hour. So we'll see when mapping 65 asteroids. I could probably shrink this down to 60, but mapping 60 asteroids takes a long time. So, anyways, if you'd like to support me, I'm trying to monetize my YouTube channel, and I need to get to 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank everybody for the support to the first 50 subscribers that I have right now. So I only have 950 more to go. So See how that goes.